Hello, this is Dr. Marty Klein with more sexual intelligence. Given the recent publication of books about atheism and the ongoing attempts to blur the separation of church and state promised in our Constitution, and America's obsession with sexual matters, this question has been coming up a lot lately. Can a person have a code of sexual morality if they're an atheist? The question is at once hilarious, insulting, pathetic, and revealing. It only makes sense if you believe in two things. One, that moral thought and behavior are essentially determined by the fear of punishment. And two, that the definition of morality regarding sex is different than it is for other human activities. Indeed, young children and underdeveloped adults do make moral choices based on the fear of punishment. Organized religion relies on and promotes this style of personality organization. Do the right thing or God will punish you. And what is the right thing regarding sex? Just about every religion has highly specific answers to that question. They mostly involve God doesn't want you to do sex this way. God strongly prefers that you do sex that way. And if you disagree with God about your sexual expression, well, see rule number 1. Organized religion typically imagines that sexual morality involves limitations rather than ethics. In most cases, the less sex you have, the better God likes it. God apparently also wants you to limit the number of sexual partners with whom you do these right or wrong sexual acts. Religiously oriented people ask, in all sincerity, if you're not afraid of being punished for doing the wrong sexual act, what keeps you from doing them? And if you don't follow God's rules about which sex acts are allowed and forbidden, how do you know if you're making moral choices? To answer concerns like this, here is the adult version of atheist sexual ethics. Get ready, here it comes. Do not do unto others as you would not have others do unto you. Memo to religious people. Does this sound familiar? In more contemporary and practical language, atheists operationalize sexual ethics this way. Decisions around sexuality should be honest, consenting, and responsible. Of course, implementing this perspective requires some thought. For example, are both people in a position to consent? Consider alcohol, age, the pressure of status differences, and so on. Honesty. Does honesty cover not just telling the truth, but also not leaving things out? And honesty should also involve challenging a partner's assumptions about you or the relationship that you know they believe, but you don't want them to believe that. And do both parties have the knowledge, the insight, and the self-awareness to be able to take responsibility for their decisions? Grown-up atheists don't need to fear some metaphysical being in order to prefer doing what's right. All clear-thinking adults prefer doing what's right. And grown-up atheists don't need a one-size-fits-all menu of sexual acts. They know that doing only the sexual acts on God's preferred list is no guarantee of moral decision-making or ethical behavior. And many grown-up atheists have experienced the deep satisfaction of ethical decision-making while rocking the house with taboo sexual acts that would make seraphim and cherubim blush. Is every atheist morally upright? Of course not. Does every atheist follow an honorable code of sexual morality? No. But the question, can atheists have a code of sexual morality, is very much like asking if Hispanics can really be good parents, or if gays in the military can be expected to keep their hands off their fellow soldiers while showering or sleeping. Just substitute the word Baptist or Jew for the word atheist to get a sense of how offensive and absurd the question about sexual morality is. If I'm trapped in a foxhole, or shower, or slumber party, or abandoned farmhouse, I say, give me someone who celebrates the human capacity for understanding and choosing what's right, rather than someone who needs to be told what's right and then chooses that primarily to avoid punishment. As far as sexual decision-making being different from other kinds of decision-making, That sounds like something made up by people who believe that our sexuality is dangerous and isn't really ours, and that our bodies are dirty. If I thought that, I'd also believe that the less sex is better than more sex. No, making choices regarding sex is like making choices about other social interactions. Some people want to maximize human respect. They see pleasure as an honorable pursuit, subject to the same social contracts as other pursuits of pleasure. You don't drive 100 miles an hour in the rain, even though it might be thrilling. Now, other people, they just want to stay out of hell. They don't trust their own impulses or the contracts that they make with their relationship partners. They're suspicious about pleasure and sexuality and their bodies. They think that fear of punishment is an important tool of social organization and a protector of the weak. They're the ones who trivialize the majesty of sex. They want rules to protect them from my sexuality. I don't need rules to protect me from theirs. Well, thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Marty Klein. If you want to get pinged every time I drop one of these videos every 2, 3, 4 weeks, then make sure that you subscribe. And while you're at it, hit the like button. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.